So I want to do kind of a story time, kind of mixed in with a little lesson. So you see the title of the video. It's a lesson that death taught me. So I was in high school and I knew this kid growing up. His name was Alan. Played ball with him when we was kids. We weren't really friends, but we just knew each other, right? So time goes on. We get into high school now. Alan was a very annoying kid, right? He's always been like that ever since we was little kids. When we was in middle school, high school, no different. He was very annoying, right? And he would do this thing that it would annoy the shit out of everybody. He would go, "Hey, you got a quarter? You got 50 cent? You got 75 cent? You got $1?" He's always asking for some money for the vending machine or something like that. And if you didn't have it, let's say he wanted a quarter. "Hey, you got a quarter?" "No, I ain't got a quarter." He would go, "It's just a quarter." And then the person he's asking for money, "Well, if it's a quarter, why you don't have it?" He never had an answer. Never. He would just and walk away. He never had an answer for that. So everybody would all Alan was kind of one of those kids that people didn't really pick on him, but he was, like I said, he was seen as like a pariah. He was very annoying. People didn't really, I don't know about people outside of who all he knew outside of school, his family, other friends he may have, but people in the school would, pretty much always talk about him. Like, I mean, teenagers in high school, you know, but nobody ever really said anything like, good about him, really. Like just singing his praises and, all this kind of stuff, like they did the more popular kids. So we all played football. So one day after school, one of my friends I was close to at the time took him home, gave him a ride home. So when my friend dropped him off, it was either his car or his mom's car. It was somebody's car, right? I think it was his. I don't know if he just couldn't drive it. I don't know if he was on punishment, whatever. So when he gets home, my friend drops him off. He gets in his car, right? Now where he lived at, there was like a curve, right? So my friend dropped him off, and all of a sudden, he sees Alan going around him on that curve, right? He loses control of the car. The car flips. And this is just what I've heard. Obviously, I wasn't there. The car flips, all this kind of stuff, and Alan dies, right? We all hear about it and stuff like that. Uh, I actually heard about it that night because I used to go to like Wednesday youth group when I used to go to this church. So he went to our school, and a lot of people went to the school that I went to at that church. So people was like, some of the like the youth leaders was like, "Hey, did y'all know this kid named Alan? He died, blah blah blah." And I went outside to call my friend because I knew he took him home. And he was, upset. His mom was upset. My friend's mom was upset. So I knew about it. So the next day at school was kind of somber, learning of his death. Here's where the lesson comes in. Now, I want to preface this by saying I do understand we were young, we were in high school, we were anywhere from 14 to, you know, 17. And that's, you're young, you don't understand. So, but you have to also understand that I was young too. So this is how I'm processing it in my young teenage mind, right? When I get to school, people are crying. People are upset. Teachers, students, whatever. We all played football. So we get a call over the intercom saying all the football players go to the field house. So when we get out there, we're in a messed up mood. We just lost a student. Some people lost a friend. We lost a teammate. Our head coach never lost a player before, so he was crying. And what I'm seeing is a bunch of people who made fun of this boy all the time. Never really said anything good about it. Now on the football team it's different than like in school because a bunch of boys, we on the football team, so you kind of cut loose and stuff like that. I used to overhear people talking about him all the time. Personally and skill wise, he shouldn't be on the team and stuff like that. These same people are now crying and saying how much they loved him and stuff like that. Now you may be saying, okay, what are you saying? Are you saying they should have been like, good, I'm glad he's dead? No. Like I said, we were young. Most people probably had never had that happen to them. I ain't saying you can't be sad, you know. I ain't saying you can't have a moment, but to just be fake like that, that was weird to me. It really was weird to me. Because like I said, me and Alan were never friends. I didn't hate him, but we were never friends. So I wasn't crying and doing none of that. Not that I'm so tough, and I just wasn't. I felt the energy of everybody else, and I was like, man, that's messed up, you know. But like I said, I didn't know Alan like that. We weren't close like that. That's not where it ends, though. It's not just the fakeness of how people react after somebody dies. It's the fakeness that ensues around everybody. So, like I said, we get called out to the field house. We're all talking, a lot of people crying. People are getting up, sharing stories, sharing their testimony if you need to talk to me. So, now what I'm seeing is a bunch of people, mainly girls, mainly water girls, who were never a part of the organization before. Because, see, what happened was we got excused, the football players got excused that whole day. That whole day. Didn't have to go to class. We was just in the field house, hanging out. Didn't have to go to class. Nothing. I don't think you could have just went home, but as long as you were there, at the field house, you didn't have to do nothing. There's like two or three girls that I don't even think I've seen them in the damn school. I knew they went there. They didn't just transfer that day, but they popped up, and now they're a part of the organization. They're a part of the football team. They're water girls now, and one of them gets up and she starts crying. She's like, if anybody needs to talk to me, I'm here. And I don't remember being like, who is that? Where have you been? What? Did she just join today? Because I never saw her, right? I didn't even know her damn name. And I know some other people was like, what the fuck is she doing here? Now, some people knew her, was like, why is she here? Her name was Allison, right? What the hell is she doing here, right? So now people are getting up, sharing their stories. There's one kid, his name was Taylor. Taylor, big fat kid, he played on the line with me, just like me, right? Taylor taught, he wasn't handicapped or nothing, but he had this weird way of speaking. And he seemed kind of absent minded, but he was real smart. He made great grades. And obviously, if something was really wrong with him, I don't think his parents would let him play football because he's been playing sports since he was a kid, unless they just don't give a shit. When he got up and spoke, he got made fun of a lot, right? That took a lot of courage for that boy to get up there and speak. While he was speaking, everybody was crying and listening. After that, when everything kind of settled down, we, get back to kind of normal. Everybody joking around. In the football field house, people playing football outside, whatever. I overhear people, man, did you hear Taylor's big retarded ass get up there talking? Yeah, man, that shit was funny as hell. And I remember getting away from them dudes and being like, y'all just sorry. Y'all are sorry as hell, man. I can't believe it. I remember I could not believe what I was hearing. The whole day, I just couldn't believe the fakeness going around. I just couldn't believe it. So afterwards, when he died, we adopted this mentality. Somebody came up with this saying, and it was called finao. Finao. Now I don't know if somebody made. I don't think they made it up, but it was just used as our saying, and we used it in reference to him. We had little bracelets, wristbands with finao and his name on it, right? And finao stands for failure is not an option. And it was so strange to see that, to see how quickly people are involved, want to be involved with something when somebody loses their life. How quickly people switch up and want to put on airs for people so they can look, I don't know, look a certain kind of way, or people like, oh, you're so sensitive and open and you're so caring. I don't know what it is. And then that was the starting point. And then I continued to see that on through my life. And then as I got older, I made a couple of videos on this channel about graveyards, funeral processions, and stuff like that. I personally think graveyards are a huge waste of land. Putting a bunch of dead folks in a suit and putting them in the ground, just don't see the point in it. Funeral processions, you probably treated that person like shit their whole life. Now we all have to respect them, and when they're not here to receive the respect, we have to respect them and slow down and get out the way and, you know, talk nice about them at their funeral when you didn't utter a nice word when they were alive. And I just never understood stuff like that. Like I said, somebody dies and you don't know them or you didn't like them. You don't have to say anything. You can just be like, man, because I don't care, unless that person was just the devil from hell. When somebody dies, it is always kind of like you know, and especially when they're in your age range, you kind of go, dang, you know, because it's a couple of things. One, somebody lost their life. Two, you realize that's gonna be me one day. One day, people gonna be talking about me and going, man, you heard about such and such, and you don't know who gonna say what about you. The people you love make, you know, that's when you die. That's when they really. I've been waiting to say this shit. Or people that you held on to how they really felt. They could tell you how to in a good positive way, and you know, you could if you believe in, you know, souls and stuff like that. Your soul could overhear. They be like, why didn't you tell me that when I was alive? So the lesson that death taught me is a few things. When somebody, like I said, when somebody you don't know or don't like dies, just be quiet. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to say sorry for your loss. You don't have to say my condolences. That's not gonna bring nobody back. You don't have to be rude and dance around, be like, I'm glad that motherfucker. You don't have to do none of that. You can just stay silent. You can just be like, hey, you know what? It's messed up. And move on about your life. Another thing it taught me, stop having so much reverence for the dead. What is somebody gonna do with your love and respect when they're gone? When they're gone, they're not here to hear it. They're not here to receive it. I just don't understand our obsession with giving so much reverence for somebody who's not here anymore. Am I saying throw them in a ditch on the side of the road? No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, why now when somebody passes away or dies or gets murdered or whatever, why now do you want to tell them all these things and you just putting on a front to look good for what, attention? Are you that much of a narcissist? I just don't understand it. So that's the lessons that death taught me. Somebody you don't know, wasn't friends with or whatever dies. It just is what it is. And people are phony. And people gonna always look for a way to be seen some kind of way because everybody thinks that they're the main character. And not only in their life, because you are, but they think they're the main character in everybody's life. And they want some kind of recognition. They want some kind of acknowledgement. They want to be seen. They got to get up there and speak. Foolishness. That's what death taught me at a young age. Thank you for watching.